Ahmad Baladi, a 21-year-old street vendor, set himself on fire after municipal officers in the Zaytun neighborhood of Ahvaz demolished his food stand. He succumbed to severe burns. According to his father, Mujahid Baladi, the family had made a living from that small food stand for 21 years, raising 6 children with its modest income. He said that during the demolition, Mr. Ahmad begged the officers to stop, but they ignored him. When he warned that he would set himself on fire if they continued, one of the officers reportedly replied, "Go ahead, burn yourself. Let's see how you burn." Moments later, the stand's windows were smashed. Tensions escalated and Mr. Ahmad set himself ablaze. The Ahvaz prosecutor announced that 2 municipal employees involved in the incident were arrested but later released on bail. The incident involving Omid Sarlak raises grave concern and strong suspicion that it represents yet another politically motivated attack on a critic of the Islamic regime in Iran. The cycle of impunity will only end with the fall of this terrorist regime, wrote Iranian Americans for Liberty on X. Shaho Safari, a firefighter in Sanandaj, set himself on fire at his workplace in protest over unpaid wages and months-long salary arrears. The 34-year-old firefighter, who is the father of 2 children, has reportedly suffered at least 30% burns and his overall condition is very critical. This incident comes just 1 day after the death of Ahmad Baladi, a 20-year-old student in Ahvaz who also lost his life in an act of self-immolation in protest. Evin Prison's guard unit entered Ward 7 to transfer Ehsan Afrashte, a death row prisoner, sparking widespread protest among inmates and creating chaos in the ward. Guards forced prisoners from Hall 2 into the yard and, using violence, took Mr. Afrashte to an unknown location. During the incident, the doors to other halls were locked. Tensions rose throughout the prison, and one prisoner suffered a seizure and was violently taken to the infirmary. Ehsan Afrashte was arrested after returning from Turkey. The same year, after several months in solitary confinement, he was moved to the general ward and later to Ward 7 of Evin Prison. He was sentenced to death by Judge Salavati on charges of espionage for Israel. The verdict was upheld during the appeal and first retrial stages, and the case is now under review in its second retrial at Branch 29 of the Supreme Court. Afrashte is a civil engineer with a master's degree and a network and IT specialist from Isfahan. His family has come under pressure from security agencies and parts of their property have been confiscated. According to informed sources, coerced confessions were recorded against him, but he has denied all charges. According to circulating reports, Bita Shafi'i, a 15-year-old monarchist and the daughter of Maryam Abbasi Niku, has been arrested by security forces and taken to an unknown location. Her mother was also arrested this year in a raid carried out without a warrant, and since then no information has been provided about her condition or place of detention. With Bita Shafi'i's arrest, both mother and daughter are now in custody, while the family remains completely uninformed. Maryam Abbasi Niku had previously been arrested. In that case, she was charged with Sab al-Nabi, which means insulting the Prophet, but was later acquitted in court. Alireza Sarlak, cousin of the late Omid Sarlak, has been transferred to Ali Gudar's prison after several days in detention. According to local sources, IRGC intelligence agents in the city have blocked his family's access to a lawyer. During the raid on his home in Qarchak Varamin, security forces reportedly assaulted his 4-year-old child, injuring the child's lip. Earlier reports said that security agents stormed Mr. Sarlak's home with violence and arrested him after beating him. Omid Sarlak, a 22-year-old pro-monarchy resident of Ali Gudars, was recently found dead in an abandoned car with gunshot wounds. Just hours before his death, he had posted a video on Instagram showing himself burning a picture of Ali Khamenei. A newly surfaced video from Omid Sarlak's funeral shows Ali Reza Sarlak attending the ceremony. Reports say he was arrested shortly afterward and is now being held in solitary confinement in Ali Gudars prison. Heavy prison and flogging sentences for two monarchist political activists. Masoud Vazife Bejarbete, a monarchist political prisoner, has been sentenced to 2 years of discretionary imprisonment, flogging, and a 50 million toman fine. Likewise, Sohrab Hassan Khani, another monarchist political prisoner, has also been sentenced to 2 years of discretionary imprisonment, flogging, and a 50 million toman fine. According to the case file, the charges brought against these two monarchist activists include propaganda against the Islamic Republic, disturbing public order and peace, and spreading falsehoods with the intent of causing public anxiety. The trial of Mohammad Najafi, a lawyer imprisoned in Evin prison, was held on November 4th at Branch 26 of Tehran's Lavrushni court. The session was conducted in absentia as Mr. Najafi refused to attend in protest of what he called an unfair judicial process. He faces charges of propaganda against the regime, insulting the supreme leader, and spreading false information. The court branch responsible for reviewing the spreading false information charge has not yet been assigned. The case interrogation session also took place in his absence. Mr. Najafi was previously disbarred permanently by the first branch of the High Disciplinary Court for Judges, and several other cases have been filed against him. In one case related to interviews with foreign media, he was sentenced to 10 years in prison, later reduced to 4 years and 6 months. Altogether, he faces more than 21 years in prison across multiple cases involving 14 separate charges, though the sentences have not been consolidated. During his imprisonment, Mr. Najafi has suffered from several health issues and has been denied access to specialized medical care and hospital visits. Some of his cases stem from publishing audio recordings from Arak prison and a complaint filed against him by the prison's director. Leila Adalati, a Baha'i citizen from Shiraz, was arrested by IRGC intelligence agents and taken to an unknown location. At the same time, her home was searched for more than 4 hours, during which several of her personal belongings were confiscated. According to shared reports, her arrest took place without the presentation of a court warrant, and no information has been provided to her family or her lawyer regarding her whereabouts or condition. The worrying support for extremist leftists who harbor Jewish blood libels is a symptom of a much bigger problem. The Islamic regime has successfully planted thousands of its supporters and agents in the United States who openly cheer for the destruction of America. Iranians Americans for Liberty calls upon FBI and Department of Homeland Security to investigate these so-called Iranian Americans and their ties to the regime. The Deputy Director of Jundi Shahpur University of Medical Sciences in Ahvaz announced that in the past year, 1,624 people in Khuzestan have died due to air pollution. He added that 22,000 residents sought medical care. Mehdad Sharifi said the air in Ahvaz, Dasht Azadegan and Hoveyziye was considered healthy for only 2 days in recent months, and that air pollution had cost the province's health sector more than $427 million. In a coordinated raid by police forces and Zahedan municipality, agents targeting the Keshavarz area and alleys 42 and 44 of the Velayat district in Sistan and Baluchistan province, dozens of homes belonging to local residents were demolished. Initial reports indicate that the police and municipal agents entered the area without presenting any judicial warrant. Residents have been left in a state of shock and fear, and several families did not even have the chance to remove their belongings before their homes were destroyed. Videos shared online show police vehicles, municipal bulldozers, and large numbers of armed officers at the scene as the demolitions continue one after another. Nurses and medical staff at Qa'im Hospital held a protest against neglect, injustice, and empty promises. They say their wages are overdue, workloads are exhausting, and every promise has remained just words on paper. Nurses who stood on the front lines during COVID, risking their lives, have to raise their voices just to claim their basic rights. Also, nurses and medical staff in Mashhad gathered for the second day in a row to protest long overdue payments, neglect by officials, and systemic discrimination. The gathering took place in the courtyard of Imam Reza Hospital following the march at Qa'im Hospital, with dozens of staff participating. Hundreds of contract and outsourced workers at the South Pars refineries gathered in front of the South Pars Gas Company headquarters. They protested wage discrimination and injustice in the payment system, chanting against inequality and demanding urgent action from officials. Retired workers from Isfahan's steel and mining industries gathered in front of the governor's office as part of ongoing protests. Raising their voices with chants, they demanded overdue payments, better living conditions, and an end to injustice in wage distribution. A group of Social Security retirees gathered in front of the organization's main building on Azadi Street in Tehran, pointing to severe economic and healthcare hardships and unpaid benefits. They called for the immediate fulfillment of legal commitments and improvements to their living conditions. Also, Social Security retirees in Ahvaz, Shush, and Gilan took to the streets in a protest march with chants like, "Their slogan is Hussein Hussein, their work is theft and plunder, and only in the streets can we get our rights." They voiced their anger over poverty, high prices, runaway inflation, meager wages, and the government's theft, plunder, and corruption. Retired telecommunications workers in Tehran, Isfahan, Kermanshah, Kurdistan, Gilan, and East Azerbaijan held a protest gathering voicing their anger at the structural corruption and injustice within the shareholder institutions, including the IRGC Cooperative Foundation and the executive headquarters.